Hey everybody, look what came in today. Yes, it is a RetroUSB AVS Nintendo NES machine. Now, I know that these aren't a brand new system. It's been out for about a year. It retails for about $185 on the RetroUSB website, but they've just recently started shipping again, and we've got one. So let's take a look at this sucker. We'll unbox it, and we'll take it for a spin. Here we go. All right, so let's take a look at this thing. First of all, it says, play your NES carts in amazing HD. That's a huge plus. So, all right, let's do a little bit of an unboxing here, and let's see what we've got inside the box. Come on, sucker. All right. So, it's very no frills as far as what is inside the box. You get a nice manual, which kind of actually looks sort of like an old NES manual, which we kind of appreciate. The one thing you'll notice is it's very kind of streamlined. The front has 4 controller ports, power button, reset, and on the back, HDMI, USB, and the Famicom expansion. So that's actually kind of neat. So let's see, in the box, here we go. Here is what the system looks like. The flap opens up, and in here is where you'll put a American NES cart, and here's where you'll put a Japanese Famicom cart. Again, the 4 controller ports on the front. Power and reset, which if you look at the buttons, they actually look very similar to the original NES. And then again on the back, which is very cool. And then as far as cables go inside the box, you've got a basic, looks like a USB cable, and HDMI cable, and then your AC power adapter. It's definitely, so one thing that you'll notice that is not in the box is a controller. And, you know, a lot of people kind of complained about that online. I actually think it's okay. Because like I said, the system retails for $185, which I think is a fairly reasonable price for a well-made piece of hardware that is made by enthusiasts, not your kind of Chinese knockoff stuff. But the nice thing is there's plenty of original Nintendo controllers available. I mean, they're super cheap and easy to come by, and of course they fit perfectly right in there. If you happen to have any Famicom accessories, like we've got these cool track and field Hypershot controllers, those actually use the Famicom port that is on the back, and those will plug right in there just like that. So definitely a lot of options. No, there's no microphone support for the Famicom, but I'll be honest, I'm not sure if I've ever actually used that. So if you want to nitpick it, that's one of the things to talk about, but I actually don't think that's a deal breaker for me. If you're into that kind of thing, the analog NT, which is a much more expensive way to go. But for me, this is a very streamlined, nice replacement. Solid, it feels solid, it looks solid. It doesn't feel cheap at all. But this is a really nice NES replacement, and let's plug it in and fire it up. All right, so here we have the RetroUSB AVS. We're going to plug in a cartridge for the first time. Let's start with Mario Brothers, since there's probably nothing that is more classic and simple as Nintendo gets. So here we go. Now, when you first start the system, it comes up with a number of different input options, video options, etc. So for example, you can go into video options, change your video mode, NTSC or PAL. You could tell it how big you want your pixel aspect ratio to be, your borders, if you want to be scan lines on or off, for those of you who love CRTs. Extra sprites on and off is actually kind of interesting. Because on sort of helps get rid of some of that sprite flicker. So we're actually going to turn that on just because I like that. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to set input options. So I like having a system like this where you could just plug in a cartridge and it boots the game right up. So I'm going to turn that on, and then I have my menu. If I want to get back into this menu again, all I have to do is press start and select and the A button at the same time, and you could actually modify that up here to choose whatever combination that you want. So we will go in and let's just start the game. And as you see, the game comes right up. It looks great. Obviously it's good old Mario Brothers, so it's going to play just as you would remember. And there it is. Now again, if I wanted to get back to that menu, I have it, so all I have to do is press Start, select an A, and I just automatically come back into this menu. So again, it's, you know, there's Game Genie cheat codes, there's all kinds of different options in here if you want. You can get right back into the cartridge again. It's all very simple, and like I said, it works great. All right, so let's pull out Mario Brothers. And let's put in something like a Famicom cartridge, which easily just kind of plugs right there in at the top loading part. Now again, people sort of was like, oh, the lid doesn't close. To me, that's not a big deal breaker. It's not a huge deal. But again, like, you know, the game came right up, and within seconds we're off and playing. And again, it looks great. I mean, again, it's 720p output, which, you know, I think is fine for most people's uses. Again, if that's a deal breaker for you, you know, I would probably recommend getting something like the Analog Mini NT. But I think for most people, this is going to be a perfectly fine, nice replacement for the NES that works great. So let's see what else. Oh, so we have one of the retro USB power packs, and yes, I can confirm that we can put that sucker right in there. And that should power right up. And yep, and that also works. So if I want to load in some ROMs, let's see, let's go to some Donkey Kong Classics, start game. And as you can see, that game also comes right up. So again, a really nice, easy replacement if you're looking for a new Nintendo NES clone. Again, it's like, this is far better than so many of those cheap, crappy looking clones that you see for 30 bucks on eBay or whatever. There's just so much, you know, basically garbage out there, that this is a really nice, well put together system. And let's watch me die. So another question I've seen being asked online is, does it work with the Famicom disk system to play games like Super Mario Bros. 2? So here we have the disk system right here, and as you can see, it's a little bit tight getting this the disk system cartridge in there, mainly because of this wire back here and how it kind of has to fit in. But I mean, you can see with not much work, the wire does kind of stick out a little bit and bends a little bit, which is a little worrying, but you know, I think it probably is okay. But we fire that up, and as you can see, it works just fine. And let's take the good old Super Mario Bros. 2, probably the most common of all the Famicom disk system games that I know of, and fire it up, and I think you'll see it actually works just fine. So again, you know, we have loads of different Famicom clones, and most of them are not that great. We love the Analog NT. It's a very, very expensive system, and this is what I feel is just a really nice replacement if you're looking for a new Nintendo NES. So do not get that mushroom. So yeah, that's what we would recommend. So here it is, the RetroUSB AVS. Works with all of your Famicom games and Nintendo NES games, works with the disk system, works with lots of peripherals. Again, you know, we just got it in, we've just been messing around with it. If there are things about it that don't work, please let us know in the comments, that way we can update. Like I said, the only thing that I know that really doesn't work is the microphone, but I'll be honest, I've had a Famicom for many years and I don't think I've ever really used that feature anyway. So again, here it is, and thank you guys for watching.